The only thing I find more unbelievable than people's infatuation with the one chord is the legitimacy of every service animal I see at the airport. But today we're talking about some cool chord progressions, specifically one chord progression that you can do that will really enhance your practice in different ways to kind of, just jam over it. So we're gonna do this in the people's key of G. And here's the trick. We're not gonna use a G major chord, okay? So in the key of G, G major is the one chord. Now, what I wanna do is I wanna take a 6-5-4 chord progression. It is a descending chord progression. We're just going backwards. So it's 6-5-4 in G. G is 1, A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D is 5, E is 6, F sharp is 7. So 6-5-4 is gonna be an E, a D, and a C, okay? If you turn these into chords, you would get E minor, D major, C major. A lot of different ways you could play this, right? E minor, D major, C major. Now the nice thing about this chord progression is I think it is very inherently musical because it does not resolve. It's a great way to practice, which we're gonna do some practice kind of exercises you can do over this, because there's nowhere to end, right? If you were to end this chord progression, right, here's E minor, D, C, E minor, D, C. Where do I end? E? I guess you could say it's an E minor, but it makes you want to keep going. Technically it resolves on the one chord, G major. All right, but because we're avoiding that chord, this is the perfect way to practice because it's not basic, guys. We have a little bit of class. There's a little bit of mystery. Are we in major? Are we in minor? How do we play over this? So we have the traditional open E minor chord, open 2-2, open, open, open. I think this goes really well to this specific D major chord. This would be like a D/F sharp. Cool way to do this is you just take your middle finger and your ring finger, and your middle finger goes one string this way, and your ring finger goes one string that way, and then your pinky can go down on the third fret of the B string. So E minor, D, okay? And then that just lines you up with C major. So efficiency is what we're going for here. 6-5-4. 6-5-4. I swear if I catch you going to that G major chord, you're excommunicated. No, this is all about 6, 5s, and 4s. Now, one really fun way to practice this is kind of utilizing what I think is a strength of this chord progression across the fretboard using these extended chords, okay? I think it really lines up visually pretty well if you just think of a 6-5-4 descending in a line, right? This is one way to maybe branch off of just getting these open chord shapes that you just kind of memorize in your fretting hand, and maybe seeing the fretboard as more of a map that will help you unlock different cool things that you can do. So when you kind of see it along one string, it's like, okay, that makes sense. 6-5-4, and the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Which again, if we just start, we have a G, third fret on the E string, and then we just go A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. It's so simple because it's really just open 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, which you can just go by like the inlays on your guitar. I'm using an Enya Nova Ghost Sonic guitar, which Enya is a sponsor of today's video. We'll talk more about this guitar later, but it's got that classy white finish on here. Oh my gosh, you actually don't even need to plug it in. It has a built-in speaker. I'll showcase that later in the video, but 6-5-4. So once you know that these are the notes, you can turn them into power chords like this. 7 on the A string, 9 on the D string. Okay, something like that. There are so many songs that have this. Again, different key, but you kind of get the idea. You'll hear this chord progression in so many different songs, but if it's a power chord, it's not major or minor. Now, like I said, I'm a big fan of extended chords and the education value that they have on guitar, along with just kind of the cool sound of them. So this is going to be the ultimate exercise that we're going to do right here. This is going to be an E minor 7 chord voicing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bar the 7th fret, and and then I'm going to have my ring finger and my middle finger hammer on the D and B strings, respectively, from 7 to 9 and 7 to 8. Okay, so E minor, 6 chord. And then we're going to go to the 5 chord, D7, which is 5, 7, 5, 7, if we just take the middle 4 strings. So 6, 5, 4. Okay, the special thing about the 4 chord is you can turn it into a major 7 extended chord. So 3, 5, 4, 5. Okay, so we have 3 different types of chords, all exhibiting very different things in a scale, right? We have a minor chord with this minor 7. We have the 5 chord, which is a dominant 7 chord in a key. And then going not from the 5 chord to the 1 chord, right? D, 7 to G, which you'll see in like a lot of songs all over the place. We're gonna go from a 5 to a 4. And that's what keeps the party going, guys. We're just keeping it going, right? We're not gonna ruin it for everybody, like those people on the airplanes with their service dogs. We're classic, we follow the rules. We're still diatonic. We're still staying in the key. Okay? Any kind of groove that you want to make over that, I think is really cool. Now what we're going to do is now we're going to start introducing some single notes to connect these chords together, okay? So we ended on that C major 7, right? So I'm on the 3rd fret of the A string. Now one thing that I think is a really fun way to connect these is maybe taking like a major pentatonic riff, arpeggio, however you want to see it, but knowing that like if this is my root note, I know that these notes are going to be in the key that I'm in. I just go major chord, 1 step higher, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. Okay? C major, E minor, D7, C. 6, 5, 4. Spell the scale out. Okay, so that's kind of a fun way you can use to connect them. There are so many more ways that you could do that. You could do it off of the D7 if you want. Same thing, right? I'd have a note here, D. I go a step higher, and then I do that little whole step string skipping exercise, right? So if I want to go maybe 6, 4, 5, I can do double stops through that. I think that's a great something like that where you just hit 2 of those strings at the same time. I really think that starting off of a root note from a major chord and then just going a step higher and then doing that little whole step progression, pentatonic, however you want to look at it, is a great way to start kind of getting cool solo acoustic or electric guitar lines in that are very fun to practice. And the fact that we're avoiding the 1 chord makes us that much more eager to continue to play it, right? E minor, C, D. E minor, D, C. And again, when you're finally ready, when you feel like you finally had enough, maybe go to that G major chord. Songwriting wise, this is very helpful because if you're trying to think of something for like a cool verse that goes to a chorus, maybe you have the chorus first. Avoid that 1 chord in the verse, and then when you're finally ready to maybe lift it to another part, that's when you hit the 1 chord, right? Maybe you're just jamming. Then finally, G. 1 chord. 4, 5, throw back the 6. 4, 5, 1. 4, 5, back to the start. Or. So I think this is a really great chord progression just to illustrate how you can pivot from minor to major, how you can make your own grooves, do anything that you want to do in that kind of regard, and then really just rock it out on this really very affordably priced guitar. Cool thing about this is I can just unplug this, right? So now I've got nothing going on, and then use the speaker built in. So if maybe I'm traveling and I don't have access to an amp, I do the whole thing like this. Again, this has a built-in distortion that you can adjust on the app, and then you just bank through by pressing this button right here, and then now it has more of like a chorus distortion. You can adjust all the effects in the app if you really want to kind of customize this. Again, this is just a really, really cool piece of gear, and super silent, like I said, when you're not playing it. It has like noise gates built into the distortion, so it's really silent when you're not playing it. So thank you to Enya for sending the guitar over. I'll have an affiliate link in the description if you guys are interested. So get practicing, avoid that one chord like an artistic beast that you are, and let me know if you have any comments or questions.